Your sports leader, WOHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, and WCSL Cherryville Gastonia.
Messed up on that last part. I'm on that shot, Joxx spitting off the top. Just want to Millie rock. I can't stop making TikTok and can't stop making drip drop.
And good afternoon, everybody.
Is that how we got brought in?
Yeah,
Is that it?
That's
okay.
That's our start.
So we're here now?
Yeah, it's Tanner.
Oh, well, there you go.
Tanner, crap. Freestyler. Well, he did. I guess he wrote that down before he started.
Yeah.
But good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome everybody to Shock Joxx Broadcast, KTC Broadcasting, WhatsUpShopper.com, brought to you by What's Up Shopper. I got to fix my camera up there in just a second. But good afternoon, everybody. Kevin Hastings along with Zach Mayu, Hunter Yancey, and intern Tanner. And we've got a pretty good show coming up today. We're going to talk about a couple of things here and there. One thing I just want to start off with is figuring out exactly what our plan is here in North Carolina. Zach, what's the occupancy limit at your grocery store right now?
Percentage wise, I'm not sure percentage wise. We can put like 280 people in there.
Yeah, I saw Walmart's was like 900 on something, or
900.
One of them was like 700.
We would never hit 280. We didn't even get close to it at Christmas.
I don't. That's why I don't know. But the point is that football
still feels like a lot of people.
Football is an outdoor sports here in North Carolina. We're going to be playing in the spring, and the governor still has a 100-person restriction limit on it. And the way that this whole thing has happened, it seems to me, it's a big giant transfer of wealth from small business owners, from the little people. So you shut down the small business, but the Harris Teeters are open, the Walmarts are open, the Lowe's are open. So this is a picture, folks, of Charlotte Airport this weekend. This is okay. Inside, everybody shoulder to shoulder, wearing their masks, because these magical masks, they work. And the mask is what's amazing about it. It's ended the flu completely. 36 people died last year. So, but it I don't know. So this is. But our governor says we can't have more than 100 people at the schools.
That was at Charlotte.
Yes, that's Charlotte Douglas. So what what affects us is that at KTC, just in Cleveland County alone, we went from doing 44 games a year to 7 because the schools have created their own broadcast companies. What's unique about it, Zach, is they started their own broadcast companies because they was losing ticket sales, but they didn't start their own restaurants because they were losing concessions. So why aren't they starting their own restaurants? But they're, now we have 7 games compared to 44. You can do the math on it. And I told one of the guys the other day, I was like, I want you guys to send me, my family, a Christmas card and apologize to my children for the worst Christmas they're going to have this year. And they don't think about things like that as far as no matter what, the people working at that school are going to get paid the same. They're not getting bonuses based on how many tickets they sell. But the people that do suffer are the small businesses. That government school is not going to run out of money, I promise. They're not going to run out of money. And when they make the excuse that you have to have football to support these other things, well, really, let's think about that. So, for example, Bandy's is having 3 home games this year, Hunter. They are going to be exact. They had just announced today they're putting up a giant big screen in their parking lot, right? You can buy a spot to park in the parking lot and watch it on the big screen. $40 a game. $40 to buy a parking lot spot and watch Bandy's football on a big screen.
How much are they paying for this big screen? I don't know who's pulling that money out.
I'm sure someone donated
A booster.
or water booster or something.
Yeah.
But like,
That's my own alma mater. Like I
Right.
graduated from there, and I think that's the dumbest shit I've heard of my. I would never. I don't even pay $5 to go and watch one of their games. I would never pay $40 to sit in my vehicle
and watch this
and watch it with no sound other than what I just hear over the wall
Unless they
that's
get a-
happening on the
You hear
field.
the PA announcer.
You hear the PA announcer.
Maybe they'll have a radio frequency and
But again, so basically they've done all this and they've put us out and said, we're just wondering. I think if they let fans in, they wouldn't have a reason to kick us out to begin with. And the governor has pretty much ruined our business as far as high school sports goes with that mandate. And that's why at some point, people ask, well, like, I'm not political, or I don't care about politics. Why should I care? And they don't think about things like this. Well, whoever voted on this guy.
Yep.
Right.
Is keeping thousands of people from watching high school sports, and it's keeping thousands of dollars from coming through the KTC family. I'm looking at my announcer list. Last year we had 25 to 30 announcers. I'm down to about 7 or 8 now, and it's getting bad. And we're sitting here, and the governor's sitting here with a 100 people mandate, whatever. They said they're going to review it maybe later this week, but I mean it starts next week. It's just gotten to a point where it's starting to get on a lot of our nerves and affect us. We're going to still be doing broadcasting with the Yetis, Cleveland Community College next Saturday. Next week we could have basketball Tuesday, Thursday, football Friday, and Saturday we're going to have baseball, Yetis baseball, and more high school basketball Saturday. So we're going to have 4 days of sports next week. We're going to be Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, 4 to 7 days next week. We're gonna be busy as all get out. So I want to get into that a little bit before we get to moving. And what y'all guys thought maybe about if do we need to somehow come up with a different number, Hunter, as to what could come to the games?
Yeah, I mean we're looking around. How many did they just let go to the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay?
I do not know.
25,000.
I think it was about 25,000. I'm not saying it'll fit 25,000 people in high school. I'm just saying we've not heard of any spikes come from them having the Super Bowl. If you're following CDC regulations and what the government is telling you, keep your social distance. Because I'm going to tell you what, there are probably more than only 200 seats at a high school stadium, because that would still mean your 100 people get maybe every other seat. There has to be more than only 200 seats. So for you to only limit to 100, it's the 6 foot. I believe if you even increased it to 250, almost 300 people, you could probably still follow the 6 foot guidelines.
If you would do that and cover the parents getting in the game,
Yeah, because think about it.
with the away teams can't come now.
No, it's all home teams, because that's accounting that every kid on the roster is getting both parents in.
So, for example, the good teams around here average 50 players.
That's 100.
That's 100. Well, what about the cheerleaders' parents?
They can't come. Sorry.
What about the band's parents?
I didn't even know if they gonna have a band there.
They are. The
they're
plan is to
having
have
the
band and cheerleaders. So
But
to have
now
noise
the
at
question
the game.
is, do the band and cheerleaders count towards the 100?
No. But again, that's what I'm saying. There's 100
don't-
spectators.
Okay.
Buying tickets that
Right.
you can get, but you can get as many people in the building you want that
Except-
are allowed to be there.
Right.
So cheerleader, all those folks, they can get in. So you could have. So people are like, "How do I sign up for the cheerleading team?" Like adults, or some of them are like, "Do I need to be a volunteer coach on Fridays, or what do I need to do
That's the only way
to
you
get
get
in the
in.
gates and get in?" And so there's a lot of people. If they would let 300, 400, 500 people, if they let 500 people in the gates, I bet they wouldn't even have to have a broadcast, because you have the reason for the broadcast to me is because of the parents. And you let 500 people in, then you're going to take care of all of them, and then that would leave us to do the other stuff. And you're charging $40 to watch bandies play on a big screen, and that blew my
Listen,
mind.
some people don't even pay $40 to go see a good team play.
Right.
Like,
That's, and no offense, they're not a good team.
they're not. I mean,
So
they won the conference, 2 years ago?
yeah.
And then the coach left.
Then that even begs the question: what 3 games is at home?
Right. So okay, so let's say it's and again, they only doing it 3 times. So they're going to the trouble of buying a big giant screen and doing this
Unless
3 days.
it's donated.
Now,
but
again, how important is football if it's so important that you need it?
you're
why are we
having
only playing
three
3
home
games? Why
What
aren't
is-
we playing spring and fall? Why is if it's so important, why is it not a 2 spring and fall
Are
sport?
they not doing fall get this year? Coming
They
up?
will, yeah, they will. But that's what I'm saying is that why don't they every year have it in spring and fall if it makes that much money? Now, Hunter, let me throw a wrench into that argument. How do the charter schools operate?
Don't they operate
Don't
on...
most of them not have football teams?
Mhm.
Most of them don't.
And most charter schools operate school-wise on like a college system.
So there's different ways that they're set up as far as financially, obviously, with the public school system. But my point being is that they survive just fine without football.
Without
teams.
football. A lot of them do. Because a
can't-
lot of them aren't big enough to support a football
You can't
team.
tell me Bandy's whole sports program is going to shut down next year
'Cause there was no
if they
football.
don't sell 3 games worth of parking lot football tickets.
Right.
Is that their argument? Because if it is, it's insane to me, and I just don't believe it.
What? Where's the money going? What are you paying these coaches?
Well, in North Carolina, not as much as South Carolina. See, you really want some under table type things.
Mm-hmm.
Look at South Carolina. Oh my gosh, like they can pay them almost double. They can, hey, you don't even have to teach, and you come there and get paid. And then taxes, of course, are different in South Carolina.
All right.
Gas is obviously lower in South Carolina. It cost me $40-some fill up my damn Jeep yesterday. First time I bought it,
it
was
always cost me
$35.
$40.
What, you talking about here?
Yeah, I'm talking about how it's went up.
I think we looked at it the other day, and because gas prices are going up, the national average, this is the whole country, is like $3.50.
That's insane.
There you go.
And
Look who you voted in. Good job,
Yeah.
guys. Let's be
It's-
real about it. Like we didn't tell you that
and
gas
I'm not
was gonna
and
go
I'm
up.
not just jerking the chain. Like the person I got this information from works in the transportation business, so they have to keep up with it.
All right, tell you.
So it was like, but going back to letting the fans in, you have to look at it like this. You're not letting fans in. You're letting parents in.
Right.
Don't mislabel them as fans. We can't have this many fans here for a high school athletic event. People need to realize the majority of the people that go to high school athletic games are the parents. That's what it is. If both sides have 50 and they all have both parents, you've got 200 people there, parents alone.
Right. And then if you do cheerleaders and band,
Cheerleaders, parents, and
now you're
bands,
at 300
parents.
people.
Exactly.
So and
Don't label
if you
them
said,
fans.
Again, if you said 500 people at a ball game and spread out, I think they can handle it. So I just want to see.
Don't label
your
them
guys'
fans.
thoughts
Remember,
on
they're
that.
parents.
I gotta pull this up for Zach here. I figured it out. So I sent this to. I'll go to YouTube. This is hilarious. Hunter. I gotta play them the soccer fan explaining baseball. I mean, I about cried laughing so hard at this dude.
Yeah, but where's he from?
I don't know. Who cares?
He definitely doesn't sound like he grew up in America, where at least most Americans know the premise of baseball.
He didn't, did he?
No,
That's
he
what
had
was
no
funny.
idea. He had no idea what that was.
Oh, I'm probably going to pull it up on my Twitter, I guess, because I can't pull it up.
It was easy. You send it to me.
I know, but I'm not logged in that way, so I have to do something different.
you
didn't post it.
You got to go around. Yeah.
So, soccer fan, baseball. Let's see if I can just type it into Twitter. It'll show up. Probably not. Tanner will laugh his ass off. That I did play Andre that he didn't hear the radio. Kevin Harlan's radio call.
Oh, yeah,
of
the streaker.
Of the streaker. Zach, did you hear the streaker during the Super Bowl? The radio call.
I did not. I knew he betted on himself to streak, and then he lost the money because he told everybody.
Is that okay? So we've been trying to figure out kind of the gist of exactly what happened. But this may be the greatest radio call in maybe even sports history. You know what? I mean, what do you think, Hunter?
It's close. It's at least the most enjoyable. 100%. It's the most enjoyable.
Oh, what are we talking about? I hit forward instead of course. So I can watch the one I don't want to watch without commercial.
Mm-hmm.
But the one I do want to watch,
They have to make their ad revenue.
I've got to watch the commercial.
They're probably monetized, so they have to make their
Shut
ad
up,
revenue. It just happens.
All right, Zach, listen to this.
bra. And now he's not being chased. He's running down the middle of the 40. Arms in the air in a victory salute. He's pulling down his pants. Put up your pants, my man. Pull up those pants. He's being chased to the 30. He breaks a tackle from a security guard. The 20, down the middle of the 10, the 5.
Touchdown.
He hides at the 1, and they converge on him at the goal
He didn't
line.
score.
No, not at all.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Did
He will. He will. He won't be announcer no more.
Oh, that's yeah.
listen? Did you hear though that the bet he made was true?
That's what Zach was just saying.
I know.
Yeah.
But the fact that he didn't keep his mouth shut,
Yep.
that he was the one that made the bet, they rescinded it and they canceled his bet, so they didn't have to pay it out.
Yep.
Crazy. Imagine if he just keeps his mouth shut. How much money? I think he was set to walk away with almost $400,000. Just didn't keep his mouth.
$350, wasn't it?
I think so. It was
Yeah.
close to it. Just couldn't keep your mouth shut. You just had to tell people, yeah, I was the one that made that bet, and I was the streaker. I bet there was going to be a streaker, so I went out there and I was the streaker. Jeez, man, you could have made off with a lot of money.
Yeah, just be quiet.
Exactly. Now,
He was more worried about being a legend than he was making the money.
now think about it. Probably in the future, that will never be a prop bet again.
Probably not.
Probably not, because it'll be too many people could persuade it to go their way.
Think about it, he got arrested too. And lost his
I
buddy,
know.
got beat up. National TV.
His buddy got arrested. Or
They make fun of him.
They both.
You know-
I think they both made a bet, and the thing was, one of them was going to use the money that they won to bail him out, but it just didn't work out that way. So I don't know what they're doing now.
You know, I used to be a huge wrestling fan. I'm not a huge wrestling fan anymore because it's horrible. I like the old stuff, but we used to go all the time. Me and Kevin would go, but even after that, when they had the big Monday Night Wars, when it was as popular, we would go down to Charlotte and watch Monday Nitro when it'd come here. And I never forget. We was sitting in there, and there was two guys in front of us with their girlfriends, and they was like, "Dude, we're gonna go get in the ring." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." They got up and got missing. Next thing we knew, they was jumping in the ring on live TV. This is like Monday Nitro. They got the living crap beat out of them. They was in there with Randy Macho Man Savage, DDP, and the referee put a beat. The Little H referee, he put a beat down. I mean, the poor guys got the crap beat out of them. Then they got beat up by the police. And then the girlfriends looked at me and my buddy that was there, and he's like, "What do you think's going to happen?" I said, "They're going to jail."
Yeah, I mean, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to shake their hands, say thanks for making this so much more entertaining. No,
So, yeah.
you weren't supposed to be in here in general. What do you
Yeah,
think
so-
was going to happen, buddy?
Yep.
That streaker thought he was going to get away with it. How funny! How funny!
I think I've pulled it off, Hunter. We'll see. If I've done it. So Zach, this we'll see. Messages. Here we
Rolling
go.
off the video.
I'm gonna have to put it on the up there so you guys can hear it because I don't think my audio is set up 100% completely right on that. But this will be easy. All right, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
Check out this cat.
Most confused game of that I'm knowing. I enjoy football. You say soccer. We have a ball. We have a net. We have a net. Kick in, boom. You kick it. Did ball go in net? Boom, point. We are finished. Next time. Now we go again. Ball, point, boom, net, ball, net, done. No, baseball. Oh, okay. We have some pillows. We have some pillows on the dirt, and then we have some grass. And then we have people who stand all around to make a grabbing of the downstairs. Grab of crouch, look around. Then man with stick is there, and then man look at stick man, and look at man with glove, and he make like this one. 1 minute with a man. And then he, boom, he throw a ball to the stick man. And the stick man may hit
you
if he
seen
make
this?
a miss of 3 times, then out. But if 4 times the throw is bad, boom, then he may walk to a pillow. Or if he make a hit and go to the side of the paints, then it is more hits and hits and hits. But if he hit a ball very far, then he may run on all the pillows around the pillows. And sometimes someone is stealing the pillows, and sometimes a man is, if you hit a man with a ball, then he may run to the pillows. And many people, and the boys in the trench, they sit in the trench, and they look around, and they spit in the hat, and then clap, and spit, and then they run to the field, and then they make a trade in 9 times, but time out on the 7. After 7 times I've run on field, everyone sing a song about popcorn. And then they
Is that not gold, Zach?
Oh man.
Funny.
Jeez.
What you think about them pillows? You run through the pillows and then you steal the pillows.
Some men are stealing the pillows.
you get hit with the ball, you run to a pillow. I just watch that all day.
Oh,
That is
man.
awesome.
That's funny, dude.
And so I was telling Andre, I was like, "That's what you sound like when you talk baseball first." Because the first thing you was talking about, Andre's always be like, "All baseball players do is stand there and scratch their balls."
So they grab their crotch.
That's his explanation of baseball. And he throws the ball at the man with a stick. Should that be every coach?
That used to be our steal sign back in the day.
Like when you grab the balls.
When third base coach
Yeah.
scratched, it means you're just going to steal. If you scratched on one side, yes. You scratched on the other side, no.
Oh God.
You had to tell sides. You talk about ass.
You had to look
What do you
at
do
it.
if he steals his ass?
I'm talking
He
about
scratches his ass.
Are you sure that's all he did to you as Little League
I
coaches?
know,
Make
Zach.
you look
What
at his
kinda-
crotch?
was the-
Forcefully. He said, if you want to steal, you got to look at this, son.
Oh, God.
And I got to grab it a certain way. All right.
Somebody on Pythian's Little League got some explaining to do.
That was Pythian.
Oh, y'all
Oh,
had some sweet
God.
jerseys till you switched over to the Philadelphia Phillies crap. Did you ever play with them, or was you all black and gold?
We were my first year we were yellow, yellow and black.
Right. You look like the Steelers or Pirates.
First year, and then we went over to the burgundy.
It's maroon. You look like the Philadelphia Phillies old
Ugly.
colors. The
Ugly.
first year, y'all had sweet uniforms, and then
God, my first year, he was looking
I
at
don't know
nuts.
how many people.
I
How many
know.
years you played Little League? 3,
4, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
My last 3 years was the yellow and gold because that was. I didn't play my first year. Like I was on the team, but I didn't play.
Okay.
I did get to come in one time, and
You had
I
to look at
lost the
some
game
nuts.
for us. I lost the game for us.
Zach.
Dang, so you had to do more than look at some
So
nuts.
we were in the.
Hunter
We
was
were-
upset about this.
This is
steal
when you
sign.
played the games in front of the old Harris Teeter. You
Yeah.
remember? It was the last year that they done that,
Yeah.
and I got put in the
How
outfield.
about Andre didn't move here until after they had moved that field, so he
Wow.
didn't even know that was even there.
I got put in the outfield. My stepbrother was still on the team. His last year. He was shortstop. And they hit a ball to me, and the bases were loaded, and I caught it and I froze. I couldn't throw it. I couldn't even think.
Did you catch it in there?
No, it was a grounder.
Okay.
He had to run out the outfield to get it from me.
Okay.
We lost.
Well, it's not your fault.
I couldn't throw it. I couldn't even think.
That's one. How many?
He should never have me out there.
So, well, first of all, how many runners do you have out there? On the
They
the
were
bases?
loaded.
So the pitcher gave up 3 base runners and a hit. Sounds like it's his fault, Zach, not yours. You've been beating yourself up the
He
whole
went
time.
right to me, and I couldn't throw it in there to get him.
Kevin, I think he's beating himself up a whole lot
know,
more
right?
other than just that. Okay?
I've been like, Coach.
He's having a sudden realization now that we're talking about it that coach probably wasn't the best coach that he's ever should have had.
Who was Coach, Zach?
It was Rodney
Ronnie who?
Bridges.
I know him.
He's passed away.
Sounds that name sounds familiar. Okay.
Making the poor
Dad.
kids look at his nuts.
Hunter.
Jeez.
Hunter.
Well, you better hope he's wearing a cup.
Oh God. You ever had coaches do cup checks?
I've told you about what the soccer coach did to us. Yes.
Well, you said he kicked you, didn't he?
He kicked balls at us.
Oh.
He said, I hope you have your cups in today, boys.
Well, that's better than hand checking, ain't it?
Yeah, I get. Well, listen. Yeah, it's better.
Which one you want, Hunter?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe the nice little tap, or am I talking about the guy launching soccer balls
tap.
at me? Oh, no one's coming up and just cup checking me. Especially not a head coach.
That's what I'm saying.
Think about it. If a coach wants to come up to you and says cup check, I don't think he's gonna rear back and hit you with his fist. Meanwhile, my coach just drilled soccer balls at you while you're in the wall and said, "Don't move."
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a soccer ball, Tanner. That's rule number one in that dodge soccer, whatever they want to call it. Sorry about that. So, crap. Where was I? What was we just talking about?
The guy trying
It was
to.
the streaker.
Oh, it went from the stricker.
We went from the streaker to the foreigner explaining.
Oh yeah,
baseball
the baseball and the pillows.
and the pillows.
That's just awesome. I could watch that on like loop all day long. Like
You could tell though that he wasn't, and it's not just the accent. If he was speaking normally, you could tell he didn't grow up really in America, because I would think that most Americans at least understand the concept of baseball. You hit the ball, you go to a pillow. You can run from one pillow to another pillow.
There's still a pretty hard push on. I've seen it a couple times through some of the bigger networks that don't count David Tepper out in this Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. Kevin said last week he's gonna make a big splash, and I think he's going to.
I've already seen Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. I didn't listen to it, but I saw it was a segment. The Panthers are not shy from trading a package with Christian McCaffrey for him.
Yep. It was McCaffrey, Bridgewater, the 8 pick, and then maybe a first year.
I'll be honest. I don't know how Houston says no to that. To be honest,
It's a good deal.
right? I mean, they're really underneath the gun right now, because Deshaun Watson really does have all the leverage, because he's like, I'm okay with y'all finding me and not playing. It ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I don't want to be here. So either you trade me and get something for me, or you're just gonna have a shit season and I'm just gonna sit over here and go party.
They're going to be bad even if he plays. They don't have
That is a
anybody.
bad team. They let JJ go.
I mean, how do you let J.J. Watt just walk out the door? You can't get a
It's a
third-round pick
mutual
for him?
decision. It's a
Well,
mutual decision.
You can't get a third-round pick for him?
there's
I don't know. He's had a bunch of injuries though.
A third-round pick?
one thing I've learned from over the years of
Six?
watching NFL is no team values their own players or other players like another team. Like everyone has different ideas and values on players. Like we're talking like I'm gonna give up 5 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. Well, I could probably get a Mitchell Trubisky for a 4th rounder, and he's got as many wins. Mm-hmm. Same number of wins. Same drafted. Same
What's his
year.
name? Wannstedt, old coach that used to Dave. Yeah, he was on Colin's show when I was coming down the street, and he said, "Look, all these people are going to try and get someone expensive." He said, "But you're going to have a player out there," and he said, like Mitch Trubisky, who could have a better opportunity somewhere else outside of Chicago for cheap. He said, but they're going to overlook him.
Yeah.
Because they want the hot commodities. They want the Deshaun Watsons. They want the Carson Wentz's.
There's gonna be some big mistakes.
And they're going to have to give up so much. So much. Yeah. Wannstedt said he believes that Mitch could have an opportunity to be like Tannehill, where it was really the situation. He goes somewhere else that can fit what he does.
He needs to have some. He needs to be built around. He's not just a one show.
No, and now, and to me, I thought Carolina was going to be hard into the Carson Wentz sweepstakes too, because I know David Tepper wants to make a splash. I've said it for a few weeks now. When it came out, what he offered for Matt Stafford was actually better than what the Rams offered. The only difference was Detroit wanted Jared Goff over Teddy Bridgewater. That's what the deciding factor was.
Right. I mean, number 1 overall pick.
Right. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like,
Detroit just basically think about what they did.
yeah.
They drafted a guy first overall 11 years ago. He didn't win a single playoff game. They turned around and then traded him
for a first round number 1 pick.
basically for a number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
One that
made a Super Bowl.
Get this, one that's already made a Super Bowl, has NFL experience. So if he's in this draft right now, realistically, he should be the number one pick if he was in the draft.
Not to mention, I
But
think
everybody's
I
but he
think
wouldn't
Jared
be.
Goff has got 5 or 6 playoff wins because he
I'm
made
not
a
sure
run
how
to the
many.
Super Bowl and he won a game this year against the Seahawks with a broken thumb.
Yeah. So I mean, did the lines upgrade? We don't know. The lines are the lines. That's the problem. But looking, Joe Flacco was picked 18th in his draft. He's got 10 playoff wins. Matt Ryan was picked second or first overall. Now, was he first or second?
He was
I think he was
first.
number 1 overall.
Wrong. He was third overall. Wrong. The Longs went 1 and 2.
Ah,
Jake and Chris Long went 1 and 2.
the brothers.
Were they brothers? No.
Yeah.
Jake was just a big offensive lineman. I didn't know they were brothers. Though.
No, wait. I don't know.
Chris
If
was Howie's son.
Chris and Kyle are both Howie's son. Never mind. I don't know who Jake is.
Jake was just a big Michigan left tackle.
Could have confused me. Both of them were longs because I knew they were brothers. I knew that Chris and Kyle were brothers. They could have had a third. Hell, I don't know.
Chris and Kyle are brothers.
Yeah.
Jake Long was huge. I don't know if he ever wound up being any good in the NFL or not, though. I think he went to Miami.
He's from Michigan, drafted by the Dolphins. Yeah, I just looking at these quarterbacks, what the Panthers and everything's going to do, I don't know.
It's
I'm
tough.
waiting for the dominoes to fall.
I thought the first domino
Like,
to fall.
is Deshaun moving or not? And how many teams?
Well,
are waiting?
depends on which ones you're considering the dominoes are.
Right.
Because even Detroit had a very good draft pick. And I thought if they were going to move off Stafford, I didn't expect them to go out and get a quarterback back. I thought they were going to draft a quarterback. And so from there, I don't know. And now there's reports that San Francisco might not be moving off of Jimmy Garoppolo. Might not, unless they can find somebody better. I mean, the thing is, though, when he plays, they win. He's just hurt all the time. He's just hurt.
Stephen A's hot because he says J.J. Watt going to the Browns would be an act of betrayal.
I don't understand why. I ain't heard that yet. See why that
His
would
brothers play for the Steelers.
Both of them do.
Stephen A's a Steelers fan, and so he's being personal about it and doesn't want JJ to go to the Browns. Defensive ends, one guy going somewhere, I don't think makes a lot of difference unless the place he's going has another stud
Unless they're
Then
ready.
Kind of like DeMarcus Ware did with
Denver.
He went one side, Von Miller was the other.
So Charles, the first thing I was thinking about Haley, but we already had a decent defense before Haley got there. He made it
yeah.
really damn special. Pairing him with Myles Garrett would be friggin'
Pretty
tough
good.
to deal with. The RDBs is the big key. Is Patrick Patterson done, Hunter? Or is he still is he still a top corner?
I'd like to think Patrick
Browns have had him
Peterson's
in
still a
mentions
top corner.
in that too. So
He's getting pretty
The-
up there now.
He's been in the league
it's hard
for
to
a
trust
hot
old
minute.
corners too.
He's been in the league for a hot minute, but even still, the 49ers took a chance on Richard Sherman, and he paid off, and he's not getting younger. Now there's Richard Sherman saying that it's a probably 100% chance that the 49ers are not retaining him. So that's going to be a cornerback on the market for somebody. I don't know. If you're a team, you just have to look at both sides of the ball and say, well, which one do we really need to bolster? Because which one is solidified? If you're the Browns in this case, solidify the defense because your offense is set. Find out what you're going to do with Odell Beckham, and then you're really set. Maybe a left tackle or an extra lineman in the draft, but bolster your defense up. I think you're in a good spot. Same thing can go for these teams that need a quarterback. Well, we could really use trading for this, and this, but we don't have the quarterback situation figured out. So guess what? Go out and get it. That's how I look at it every time. I think the Browns would benefit very well if J.J. Watt did decide to go to them. You got Myles Garrett on one side, J.J. Watt on the other. That's a two-headed monster right there. I think the Bills would benefit from him going to Buffalo because the one thing that they struggled to do against Kansas City in the playoffs was get to Mahomes. There are a lot of teams that could really use J.J. Watt. It's just going to come down to now J.J. Watt has to – he's not restricted. Mm-hmm. He gets to choose. So it just comes down to him. If he wants to go to Pittsburgh, the problem is Pittsburgh's he's not going to be cheap. I don't think he takes it, just the cheap way to go somewhere. Pittsburgh is going to be very salary-stricken if Ben Roethlisberger decides to come back and play next year, because he's a $41 million cap hit next year. That's what his contract hikes up to. $41 million.
Who is this?
Ben Roethlisberger. So I
Something
don't
just popped up about him a minute ago.
I just don't know if if they could afford to bring on J.J. Watt. Unless he just wants to take a hometown. It's not his hometown, but he wants to take a discount just to go play with his brothers. That'd be nice, but I don't know. Where J.J. goes, who knows? I mean, and we don't know where Carson Wentz is going to end up because he's come out and said there were 2 teams in the running for him, the Bears and the Colts, and I think Carolina was interested in him. I don't know if they are now, but he basically said, I don't want to play in Chicago.
I think you can go after him and he turn into another Teddy situation.
Well, Carson has come out and said, first of all, he doesn't want to play in Chicago. He's essentially trying to force his way to Indianapolis.
Is that where he wants to go?
That's where Frank Reich's at, who coached him that Super Bowl year they went.
Says that the general manager just come out for the Steelers and has not committed to saying Ben Roethlisberger will be with us this year.
It doesn't surprise me.
No, I mean.
It doesn't surprise me. These guys, as you like to say it, getting long in the tooth.
Yep.
These teams got to start making decisions.
How's Roethlisberger?
Was he 36, 37?
So he's got another 5-7 years left, right?
If he lives like
If
Brady
he's
does.
Brady, but he's not.
That's what I'm talking about. He's got another 5-7 years.
He looks
He's
like
not Brady.
He looks like he's
Are
the
you
beer.
telling me double cheeseburgers don't
He
do
looks
as
like
good
he's a
as
beer
the
drinker
TB12
and
diet?
double cheeseburger is the TB12.
But the thing about Big Ben is that it hadn't mattered his whole career. He's got a cannon arm. As long as he's standing, Zach,
he can throw a football when he ain't even playing it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is that watching him? I know it's different, but it's
He's the
kind of
ugliest
Dan
quarterback.
Marino-ish.
Yeah.
In
But
his older year, his last 5 years, they would hike it to him. He'd stand back there and sling that some bitch.
The difference is though, he's about to be a $41 million cap hit instead of Tom Brady, who's only about $25 million.
Yeah, they can figure out something.
If he wants to figure out something, that's the same reason why Atlanta's not trading Matt Ryan. He's getting ready to be a $40 million cap hit.
Well,
And
he's pretty good, too.
I know, but even if they wanted to move off him in general, they don't think they'll have any suitors to pick up that kind of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Big
Especially
Ben,
when they can get somebody for cheap.
38.
It's 38.
So, what do you think about Lawrence and this surgery? Does it affect him?
It's his left shoulder. It's not his throwing shoulder.
Out 6 weeks.
They predict he should be back by training camp. I don't think it hurts it regardless. I saw a lot of people say, though, he should have just went ahead and did the surgery instead of doing a pro day throwing, because if he's the guaranteed lock at the number 1 pick, then just go ahead and get that over with.
A throwing day.
I know.
The crazy thing is with, Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers 37. You don't have the same mindset for the 2 quarterbacks on longevity.
I do. Hunter hates Big Ben.
No, I don't like Big Ben.
I like him, so we're completely opposite on it. He both threw a bunch of passes in that playoff game and hit receivers in the hands that they went Pat Mahomes or whatever you want to call them on his receivers too. And so, again, it's all on defense to me. You can't turn it over. Anybody that turns it over in a ball game, you almost lose the game. So that was the end of them for the playoffs as far as I'm concerned. But Lawrence Hunter, if he's not going to be ready for training camp,
I think they said he'll be close. But the thing is, he's got to go ahead and get that surgery right now, though, because I think they said it would be 6 to 8 weeks. If you do it right now, you'll be done and ready by May, June.
So what's the Jaguars' backup plan then?
Nothing.
Somebody's going to have to play and do practices for the next 2 months.
They're not practicing right now.
Well, they will. They're going to have off-season activities in another month or so.
Probably.
What I'm saying is that after the draft, he's not going to be ready till training camp. So he's got all summer. Somebody's got to run the plays and practice and stuff. Is Minshew moving on? Are they keeping him around, or is they going to do something else?
Well,
they got to do something.
He's still under a rookie contract. If they wanted to hold him on because they think he could be a good backup, I don't see why not. But that's going to be more of does he think he can play somewhere else?
Biggest thing. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say reports are today that who was it? Somebody said that he was contacted as a front office thing that Denver's looking to move off Drew Lock. So now we got another team that's officially in the quarterback hunt.
Yep.
So
I assume they were anyway.
You look at Minshew, and you got that whole new coaching regime coming in. They don't want anybody at the previous thing that had probably started, so they're probably trying to get off of it.
They're probably trying.
Think about Minshew though is he has no salary.
Yeah.
None.
Like
He was, I think, 5th, 6th round pick.
His cap hit this year is
I was
$900,000.
gonna say 500
It's not even $1 million.
That's it.
$900,000
for a serviceable backup.
Honestly, Hunter, if I'm you guys, I'd call.
No, I'd love to have him. If it's a stopgap, I don't care.
Honestly,
$900,000.
not even if it's a stopgap. I think you guys in position you are. I think you need to quit looking at these young guys. Why not bring in 2, 3 medium to young veterans?
Oh, I've heard we're interested in Mariota out of Las Vegas.
Okay, so Mariota, who hasn't, a lot of these guys that we've drafted the last 5, 6 years have moved on to other teams after not having a very early success. When you're with a bad team, maybe getting a second chance. I think at some point we're gonna have one of these guys come out second or third team and just
pop off
and blow up.
Well, think about it. Ryan Tannehill essentially started it because he was with the Dolphins. He was a high first-round draft pick, and it just didn't pan out. He goes to Tennessee, and he makes the AFC Championship game.
What I'm saying, what if you brought in, say, Mariota, Minshew, and still had Alex Smith there? Whether or not anybody's a star,
We just signed Taylor Heineke.
well,
though.
that you can win with. What I'm saying is that you can win with any one of those guys. as
This
opposed
team
to,
is built to win with a quarterback
Let's
immediately.
not waste draft picks and years of waiting on rookies to maybe develop or get.
If we
ready.
can get one, I'm perfectly fine with it. I just don't want it to be Cam Newton.
I don't think he's. That would have been last year. I seriously don't think. No way.
I think
He traded a fifth for Cam's backup.
Kyle. Yeah,
And
and we got
Cam
Taylor
stunk it up.
Heineke, who was on their
Who
practice
was
squad.
Cam's other backup?
Yeah,
And Cam stunk it up.
Yeah.
He
So
stunk
like
it up.
that was Cam's redemption arc in New England, and it flopped.
He stunk it up.
Like,
I don't think nobody's gonna sign him.
There's no reason whatsoever for
No, we shouldn't.
for you guys to go after Cam Newton. Zach made a good point. Does anybody even sign him at all? Is his career over?
He said he didn't want to go out this way, but unfortunately,
nobody wants, to,
nobody
go out
wants to.
the way they go out.
Nobody gets lucky and walks out of there after a Super Bowl like Peyton Manning. Like, it just don't happen that way. Unfortunately, the market's probably going to dictate that you might have to consider retirement.
I got an answer for you. Peyton and John Elway both did it, so I guess
Camden, Denver?
Cam to Denver. Here we go.
Cam to Denver.
Denver fans wouldn't like that at all.
No, I don't think they'd like that at all.
Didn't we just beat him?
Yeah. This is silly time now. You know how you call it silly season in NASCAR? This has officially become silly season in the NFL because there's so many quarterbacks involved that you would have never thought would have been involved.
So
Has it ever been like that with that many quarterbacks?
I don't think there's been this many available.
last year we talked a lot about it. Last year we had like 11, 12 teams. The thing that makes this year different, Tanner, is last year it was free agents and draft. This year it's free agents drafting. Everybody wants traded.
They all want to get out.
So it's got it up to 15 to 20 teams. Like, might be looking to make a change. Nobody's happy with what they got.
Think about it.
Everybody likes their used car.
The Eagles just gave Carson Wentz a huge contract extension. 1 year in, he's ready to get out.
Jared Goff, number 1 overall pick. Let's get rid of him. Dwayne Haskins, let's get rid of him. Like
And now he's the backup. He's one of the backups in Pittsburgh now.
So Zach, Cam Newton career 75 and 63. Andy Dalton, same draft, 74 and 66. Andy Dalton winning seasons with 10 or more starts, had 5 to start his career. Cam has 3 in his career. Again, who is going to sit there and say, like, let's bring him in? I don't know. I don't see who would. The options I would, honestly, again, we talked about this a little bit last year. If you're a team that struggles with the run in the red zone, the Chiefs, why would you not have Cam Newton in there? How about the Titans running the freaking option with Cam and Derrick Henry inside the 10? Like, who wants to make that tight? No DB wants any bit of that whatsoever. Baltimore, they've had RG3 backing up there. Why not bring in Cam? You know, I've always said that running quarterbacks need running backups. Keep the same type of system.
It doesn't change.
You don't have to change plays. You don't have to ruin your season.
The problem is, for me, and probably for a lot of people, this is all taking too much time. This is going too slow. And I know people say, well, we got time. We got the draft coming up in almost 2 months. I'm like, well, just get them done. If Deshaun Watson wants out, guess what? Get his ass out. Carson Wentz, they said, he came out now and said he doesn't want to go to Chicago. Well, that means Philadelphia can take their fine dandy time because they know Indianapolis is really the only suitor there. So we can wait until Indianapolis gives us something that we kind of like and then move him.
And that's the thing about these teams. Like, how are you going to get so much for stuff? Like, who's overpaying for Carson Wentz? when there's other guys that I might like. I could trade Gardner Minshew for a 3rd round pick maybe instead of 2 firsts
And
for
think
Carson
about
Wentz,
it,
Carson Wentz.
for Philadelphia. The report came out and said that they would be looking to draft a quarterback at 6. What the hell are you doing with Jalen Hurts? You drafted him in the 2nd
Yeah,
round.
you're just wasting picks.
He's just gonna keep.
He's just gonna
drafting
sit there?
Nothing but quarterbacks in Philly.
Kind of like
This is going to
Detroit
turn
wide
into
receivers.
Cleveland. This is going to turn into Cleveland how they've been.
They are.
Washington was this way. I guess we flipped spots now. We're now Philadelphia, how they have been in the past. Now, think about that. Carson Wentz, you take him out to play Jalen Hurts. Then you play Jalen Hurts and pull Jalen Hurts for a 3rd-string quarterback in the final game. And now reports are you're going to move Carson Wentz and draft a quarterback. And Jalen Hurts is literally just left there in limbo since that final game of the season. If you were another team out there, would you not inquire about Jalen Hurts as well?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
If
I thought about
we're-
both.
if
What you want for both? What you want for this guy? What you want for that guy? I'd ask for both.
Think about it. Seriously. Because he showed he's at least competent enough to play. If you want him as a stopgap, go ahead. I don't care. But it's just one of those things where it's like, so you've drafted him. He was a high draft pick. He was a 2nd-round pick. And then you've played him. And he showed he could kind of play, but it doesn't matter because we're going to draft a quarterback anyways. It was like, what was the point of him? If you're Philadelphia, this is your opportunity to wipe your quarterback room clean completely. Start fresh if you're going to draft one, and go from there. You got a new coach, everything. This is your opportunity.
All right, Hunter. Any other NFL? Tanner, you got anything NFL? Football or anybody? Any
Well, the
notes?
Jags did go back to a home uniform.
Yeah.
I like it better.
Well, what's it? I mean, is it just the same kind of same?
Teal
as,
deal. Let me see.
same
if
as it
can
has
pull up.
been. I mean, unless they're going like spots,
They're going teal.
right?
It says it is switching from black to teal as its primary home uniform.
okay.
That's it.
Well, that's just fantastic. All right,
Tanner, way to go. Great
Tanner,
breaking news.
pull my video up over here. I want to talk about the immortal greatness of click on internet Kevin CPU down here. A little bit up, little bit up, little bit up, little bit right there. I want to talk about the greatness of Draymond Green. Zach,
Draymond
did you see
Green's
this?
trash.
Did you see this game-winning attempt at a shot the other night? This may be the funniest damn thing I've ever seen. Look at the seconds on the clock. We'll pull it up so you can see it there, Tanner. Yeah, 8.7. Okay, down 3, 8.7. That's all you need to know. Now watch this wonderful play.
Where's Draymond?
He'll be the one getting the ball.
Wow. Did he not know how much time was on the
Now
clock?
there's 5 seconds left in the game.
It looked like to me he was trying to draw the foul.
Is that what it was?
It looks
Yeah.
like it because the guy was all over him. Now,
This dude can't play basketball.
does that mean that
He's trash.
He can't play basketball.
Does that mean I am okay with what he did? No, not at all.
He can't play basketball. Well, I mean, again,
I mean, look at this. The only thing I'll give him is all right. He had him all up in his
I ain't
grill.
giving him anything. You know why? Because watch
Because it's
this.
Draymond.
Right, that too. Watch this, Hunter. This is why I'm not giving him anything.
How wide open was Steph?
He's calling for the ball and Steph Curry's on the court. Bruh!
Listen, I'm not saying he should have been the one taking
And then
the
he
shot.
got, like, Hunter, he's saying, ball, I'm open.
Me.
And he threw it from half court.
He thought he was gonna get fouled. I can see
awesome.
it. He thought he was gonna get fouled and gonna go to the free throw line. What an idiot!
He should have just ran in the paint. There was
What an
nobody
idiot.
there.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah, but see, that's a smart IQ play that we don't necessarily believe he's capable of.
The other, I mean, just,
Did you see his rant?
yeah, well, I was kind of getting into some of that and kind of getting into this stuff about how, like, there's a clear split. Now they're going advanced stats in football and basketball for these guys.
I saw a war in football about the defensive lines.
I saw something that was a DVOA in football, and the guy said, "How about we just do how many points a game you gave up?" And the response was, "You clearly do not understand the intricacies and how and anything about football if you don't understand how important DVOA is, as opposed to points given up." And the other guy was like, Well, on the scoreboard, they put points given up. So, like,
DVOA.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, D, I would think is defensive, but what the hell does the V stand for?
Versus offensive, I don't know.
Attempts.
Adjustment.
Hell, I don't know. Defense versus offensive attempts. Is that it? No.
Delaware Valley Orienting Association.
Oh, okay.
But again, yeah, Hunter, and then they were going on. You know, the whole argument is, if all you do is look at box scores, you don't know how good Draymond Green is. And
Yeah.
what argument can you have, Zach, where you say, man, you know what? This dude's really good. He's averaging 5 points a game. We're scoring 110. And you're like, that's the one we need. Like, you're scoring 110 points a game, and you're talking about how good the guy is getting 5 or 6.
You had 110 points. So what you only attributed like 4% of what we scored? Not even.
He's averaging 5.
If he was averaging 5 and
If
he
we
scored
went around.
100, yeah, he's just 5%. He only attributed 5% of what we scored.
With non-rounding, he's averaging 5, 5, and 8. You can say 5, 6, and 8 with rounding.
There goes Mr. Triple Single again. God almighty.
Yeah, and you know they were talking about. I guess I did not see the whole entire gist of his rant. I was reading about basically complaining about the treatment of players when they ask for a trade or other things.
Yeah, it was
And-
essentially he was calling how there's not really a double standard for how the players get treated when they publicly ask for a trade and when an organization comes out and publicly says we are trading. There is no double standard.
Zach, see what you think about this. It's defensive adjusted value over average.
Huh?
Yeah,
Defensive water?
defensive adjusted value over average.
Oh, so it's not just DVOA. It's DAVOA.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, what did you say right before that? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you with that because I was going to ask Zach a question about it.
I don't remember. I was talking about Draymond, wasn't I?
What was we talking about, Tanner? You're supposed to be taking notes. You're supposed to tell me exactly what I just said.
Oh, we were
'cause I was gonna
talking.
tell Zach
We
something.
were talking about Draymond's comments and how I said it was more of he was pointing out more of a double how there's no double standard.
Okay, that's what I was going to get.
Yeah.
Zach, today's generation, you manage some younger folks. No offense to either one of you. How do they handle being employees and being bosses too, and being told what to do?
They're I'm trying to think of the right word.
How would you like to coach one of them?
They need to be nurtured a lot.
How would you like it though, Zach? If you had, think about it. If you're the meat manager,
They like positive reinforcement.
if you're the beat manager, and the stalkers are making 10 times more than you, but you're their boss, as far as coach and player, is where I'm going with that. And then they whine about the way you're treating them, and you're making them work hard. You made them work back-to-back nights one time. They asked for a trade or a transfer, and you told them no. You're a meanie. So it's like what I'm saying is that
No, how could you?
I don't think some people, no matter how much you're getting paid, if you're getting paid by someone, you're their employer. And on their time, again, it's the same thing with the flag thing. A lot of people skip over it, is that you are employers and on our employers' time. Like, yes, it's free to protest, but you don't have freedom to protest on my time while you're working for me. I can't just sit there and like, hey, you come to work, and then while you're at work, you protest for 8 hours.
Oh, and we're just gonna pay you.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is Draymond and them, they're, and I think Marcellus Wiley was saying a little bit about it yesterday. They're a little bit more. They're pampered athletes. They go from zero, having nothing, to having more than almost everyone in the country and everything before you're 25. And then he's talking about once you get 30 and you have to transfer back into the regular world. Talking about Vincent Jackson, it's tough for these guys to, it's a wholly different world and lifestyle. And I don't think they get the employee. Like, hey, you're my employee. I can trade you. I can tell you to be quiet. I can do this. If you don't like it, you can quit, I guess.
Right.
Sure, these guys are under contracts. I don't know. I don't
The
see why they're not
only
getting.
thing that I agreed with that he said was at the closing part of his argument before he got up and said, hopefully I'll see y'all tomorrow, essentially to the reporters, was he was saying, when a young guy in the league doesn't get it, they are struggling. They say, he's just not getting it, instead of looking at the organization basically saying, well, they're not getting it right. Like, they're almost failing him. And to a degree, like, I agree kind of with that. We do just, shit on the young guys half the time, saying, well, he's just not getting it. He's no good. And instead, I feel like we don't really look at organizations saying, well, maybe if they knew how to develop players.
I'm going to disallow Draymond's comment, or however you say about Draymond's comments, to like just put him off, because he's been on Steph Curry's team his whole career.
Yeah.
If he went to the Charlotte Hornets right now, Hunter, what would their record be? He wouldn't be talking. We would never, if he played for another team in his career, would we have ever heard of Draymond Green?
Probably not.
Like, what other team are we talking about? A guy
Well, you
averaging
probably
6'6" and 9'8"?
You probably would, because you'd be like, why is he being so loud?
Why everybody would call him a jerk. But again, like, what other team are we talking about? A guy averaging 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists or 8 assists, whatever it is.
Or if he goes on Dream Team, if he leads the team in
scoring, yeah. It's not like he talks. He's the Hunter. To me, like the Warriors. Again, we talked about this last week. The Warriors have chosen basically Draymond over Harrison Barnes and Kevin Durant. Like, once Kevin Durant got there, my position would have been, Draymond, shut up.
Yeah.
Don't say a word. We want to keep him as long as we can.
Right.
And instead, they backed him for what? The same thing with Harrison Barnes. For what? And to me, again, let's say if he was traded a long time ago instead of Harrison Barnes, would we talk about Draymond Green ever again?
No.
Hannah, you don't think so, do you?
No.
I mean, I'm just trying to get it. If he's averaging 5 points and 5 assists for the Charlotte Hornets, are we on Sports Center listening to Draymond Green's comments on the league? Nobody asked Biombo this year. No. But why do we got to listen to Draymond? I don't get it. I don't. Terry and them, they love it, and he makes one block a game or one steal a game, and they jump up and lose their mind. And I'm like, he got outscored tonight 25-5 by whoever he's guarding.
Barnes is still. I mean, he's
averaging
right
what, 15, 16, 17? It's 10 points extra game. Because the Warriors, you're telling me
today's Warriors.
Think about it. You're telling me that Draymond holds his guy to 10 less points a game, as opposed to Harrison Barnes is going to score 10 more points a game than you?
Draymond holds himself to 10 less points.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So the argument is, if you're picking Draymond over Harrison, is that if Harrison scores 10 more points a game than you, that means you got to hold whoever you're guarding to 10 points below their average, right?
Right.
And there ain't no way in hell.
No. Listen, even if the guy that Draymond is guarding gets 7, guess what? He outscored Draymond. Just going off average. So if Draymond's averaging 5 points, if the guy he's guarding scores 7,
gets 2 and 1s, he
outplayed him. I don't know, man. I just don't get it. But I will say this: a lot of the stuff that he was going on about, I kind of got lost in it, because it's like, you're trying to hit home a point, Draymond, and I'm just not seeing it. But other players, they seem to understand what he was saying and agreeing with it. It's just, I don't understand why it's such a big deal and why he wants the front offices and stuff to be held accountable when they basically make it public that, hey, we're looking to trade this guy. That's essentially saying, call us. Do business with us. We are looking to move this guy. Now, I can get it. Maybe that isn't good for the guy's mental, that it's out there that he knows he's getting traded. Maybe he doesn't know where he's going to go. Maybe he does have kids in the school system that he's living in right now and has to go ahead and try and find a house or something. I don't know, but I feel like it would be a little bit easier, though, for these multimillionaires to be able to find a new house to live in than if you told me I'm getting ready to have to relocate.
All right.
So I don't know. I understood, though, kind of what he meant by how he was really more upset of how the media treated James Harden for wanting to leave Houston, essentially saying he's a locker room cancer and whatnot.
He quit. He literally quit.
I
he's
get
wearing
that.
a fat suit out there.
He's out there.
I think he was wearing a fat suit. I think it was. I think it was just fake. I think he stuffed a pillow in there. There's your pillows from baseball. All
right, so they're talking about you see the stats. So now they're playing Draymond at center, Zach. So the 6'7". So now the stats come across the board like no center's ever had back-to-back 15 assists a game or something like that. And so now he's a center. So
they just posted up a picture, I think today or yesterday, of David Robertson's quadruple doubles. I don't understand.
So let me.
Act like he
Quadruple
wasn't-
singles awesome.
Right? Yeah. Woo.
So I'm looking at defensive stats by position. How about points? Okay, so that means this is how many points you give up to the other centers, right? So ain't that what Draymond's playing?
I guess
You're telling me he's a fantastic.
they got
center?
him playing at center, and they didn't just draft James Wiseman. What's happening?
He's 16th. The Warriors are 16th in points a game given up to the other centers, 21 points a game. So if Draymond's averaging 5 and giving up 21, please tell me more about his defense. Please.
Oh, that's a little bit of a 16-point
They
swing
don't need
there.
to play defense in the
That's
NBA
right.
anyways. So
That's the
what
truth.
does it
That's the
matter?
truth. We say that all the time. It's like, why do we hold on to defense so much in a league
When you
where
got somebody scoring 150 in a
Nobody
game, that's
does.
bad.
Right.
Is that
It's not
all right?
there.
Zach, see what you think? I brought this up last week to the guys. A way to curtail the score. And like, if I score 15 points in a 130-point game, it's basically like scoring like 5 or 10 points. It's
Yeah.
not like,
Because it used to be, 80s.
well,
You know,
so before 1985, I'm going off the top of my head because I saw it the other day. I could type it in, but I'm not going to. The average NBA score was about 108 to 110. Okay, then in the late 90s, early 2000s, they went through a defensive phase where it was in the mid 90s.
Yeah,
So that's when
remember that.
that's when the Pistons won their championship. But right after that, it switched back to 110, like in the low 2005ish. Okay. Only in the last 4 years has it got past 110 to the 111s to the 115. So again, and we talk about this all the time, they're scoring more now than ever before. They're shooting 3-pointers, and still nobody's averaging 30 points a game like Jordan did for his career. It's insane to think about that. All right, how about looking at points per game by position. And at power forward, let's say Draymond plays there. The power forwards are giving up 22 points. They're giving up 22 points a game to power forwards.
Dang, they ain't got no front court defense at all.
Who's in charge of the front court defense? Draymond Green. They're giving up
Supposedly
43 points a game to power forwards and centers, Hunter. But Draymond's a defensive genius. All right, Blake Griffin may be moving soon.
Yes.
His biggest problem is this contract. It is very hard to move. I tried to make it with Charlotte. You can't do it with Charlotte unless you trade Zeller and Rozier. And then you still got to add like PJ Washington or somebody like that just to make the money right. Like
How much
he's
he make?
it's like
Oh, listen!
$37 million.
When I heard
It's
that,
insane.
when I heard
I'll
that
pull it up
Blake
right
Griffin was available, I said, if I was Charlotte, I'd do everything I can to acquire.
I think it would be a great
It'd be a good
fit in Charlotte. But again, I did the math. I've done the math on it.
You
It's-
got to give too much for him. He's got a huge
It's
contract.
stupid. It is. Let me pull it up. Blake Griffin, $36.8 million. So the way the NBA is, if you're over the tax line, you have to match the exact salary. So, but you can be within $1 million or $2 million roughly to just to give everybody a heads up. So if you do Terry Rozier and Cody Zeller, let's see if this trade works out. Okay, you can give up those two.
That would free up your guard
would
play.
they take him though? I mean, they got to want that.
But all right, here's the trade value that they give. It says the Pistons would add 8 wins to their total, and the Hornets would lose 13 wins with that trade.
Is that because Terry Rozier's?
Oh, they're averaging 22
score,
points
yeah.
a game right now.
I tell you what, though, I think it'd be fun as hell to watch.
I honestly don't
They
think
can stay healthy.
the Hornets don't have the money to do it unless let's say you keep Rozier, you'd have to add Monk, PJ Washington, Biyombo, and I still don't think that's going to get it done. Nope. You'd still have to add one more. Just so if you don't include Terry Rozier or Gordon Hayward in the trade, Hunter, you'd have to give up Zeller, Monk, Washington, Bridges, and Biyombo to make the money work. That's why I don't think it's going to be a Charlotte. Now, I'll say this. If it's a 3 or 4 team deal, there's a chance that could happen because then you can move money in different spots. Because basically what you move out has to move in so you have another team absorb something. But I just don't see it happen with
It would
Blake.
be
Could they
fun
not
to
give
watch.
up some draft picks too?
They could, but it don't matter as far
Yeah,
as
you
money.
got to
money
make,
wise.
So the
make
money-
the money match.
If I give up
two
35 million,
two different versions of capital there,
Right.
between the money and what draft
like
picks
the
would get you.
NFL, it doesn't matter. as far as making the money match. But they can't make a trade if they're over the cap at all, though, is what they can't do. If you're NBA, you can. Baseball don't have a cap, so you can
just
actually
gotta pay
trade.
luxury
You can actually
tax.
trade a box of baseballs for somebody in baseball. There's been a couple people that's been traded for weird trades in baseball history, like for baseballs. Babe Ruth was traded for a movie theater.
What the freak?
Did you not know that?
No.
Yeah. Let's pull it up.
I'm telling you, that would be fun to watch. The Blake
What?
Griffin here.
Yeah.
That'd be fun to watch. Him and Gordon Hayward. I know you don't like LaMelo, but him throwing the lobs to Blake Griffin, that'd be really fun. That's one thing you can't take away from Blake Griffin right now. He's still athletic. God, he's still athletic.
How old is he now?
Blake Griffin's probably
He
in
come out
his
in
early
07?
30s.
He come out in 07.
He's probably in 30s.
Zach, is he Sean Kemp or what? Is that not what Sean Kemp was?
Yeah, just a more
He's 31.
Peppers looking compact version of him. You know, Sean Kemp was a long, lanky. But I mean,
Now the alcoholic version of Sean Kemp wasn't.
True.
I'm talking about like the pure athleticism,
Yeah.
fly high and dunking. Like
all
we've
you
seen
do.
it. Like
That's all
we've
he
seen
does.
this before. This is Sean Kemp to me. And Kemp's first 5-6 years, his numbers were amazing. You talk. We talk Draymond's all the time. Let me read you Kemp's. Like, dude, everybody in the league said he was good.
I think he didn't. I think he come out of high school too.
I think he did too. 90. So was it? They played the 96 finals. He averaged 20-11 that year in the 96 finals.
Yeah.
So that's Blake Griffin all over it. Babe Ruth, one of the most important days in baseball in history, December 26, 1919. Then owner Harry Frazee sold Ruth for $25,000 to help finance a play called No Nanette. The actual history is a bit more intricate. Ruth was sold basically for $100,000 in payments. So they paid him $25,000 four times in payments.
And that was
Inflation calculator is $1.5 million today. So they sold Babe Ruth for $1.5 million to pay for
and he went on to
a
be
play.
the Yankee of all time.
I'll pull those weirdest baseball trades. Those are fun to pull it up. But yeah, Hunter, looking at the money, I don't see Blake Griffin there. You got any other place you might think would be a good spot? I might try to make it work for you, but
I don't really
Or
know
has anybody
because
heard any other
because here's the
rumors?
thing, I don't know if Blake Griffin makes anybody that's like borderline a title contender. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just his style of play.
you need
So-
a player with a big contract to move for him too, and that's not doing that well. So like, put it this way, the Hornets would be in a better position right this second if they had Nick Batum,
Yeah.
$25 million
That
salary.
the contract's almost up.
Yeah.
They just want to get off the money.
Right, they could have even.
I just don't know a place where Blake Griffin goes in, and if they are borderline, they're just a championship team. So I don't see a championship contender team making a move for him. It would probably be one of the lower teams that are in like a Hornet situation where they just want to be interesting. You know, that they want to be able to sell merchandise. They want to be able to sell tickets if people could go to the games. I think Blake Griffin would be really fun to watch. Like, probably can't happen at all, but Dallas. Got to be fun in Dallas. Pick and roll with Luka. Have Porzingis as your stretch 4 or 5.
I see that. I think what Dallas needs is a wing scorer. They need somebody. They need.
They
Andrew
had
Wiggins.
Harrison Barnes.
Right. They
Well,
need-
think about this. Could Dallas not, money-wise, move Porzingis for Blake Griffin?
Probably. But
You just have- you would have to look at
I
it.
like Porzingis healthy.
Yeah.
Healthy.
But I like him as a number 3, not a 2. So to me, if they got someone like an Andrew Wiggins type scorer on the wing, a Kawhi Leonard, any type of a wing that can get you 20 points, to me that then sets up their play. That would complement Luka more than anything, is having someone else.
There's your third team in the trade. Send
Dallas.
Terry Rozier to Dallas.
If Luka has someone else that can get, he needs someone else that can get a bucket besides just passing it to and they shooting. You know what I mean? Like he needs to get it someone else that can boogie. and get a buck. He needs a James Harden type, just a small forward, DeMar DeRozan, anybody that can get you 20 points on the wing.
What about Bradley Beal? Isn't he up for a trade?
But those two teams, that would just be like trading.
That would be dumpster for dumpster.
Yeah, because of
Do
the
it.
money. Bill's over to about. You're right. The contracts are almost exactly the same. I think Bill's like a 35 too.
Problem is
But everybody's got Bill here and Blake here.
Griffin there. Like it wouldn't. There's no way Washington would make that trade.
Unless Detroit. Now here you go, Tanner. Now Detroit could throw draft picks at that trade.
Try and sweeten that up, but
2 first-round picks and Blake Griffin for.
But no, there's no way that happens.
Westbrook and
Bradley
Blake,
Beal
2 first
would
picks.
lose his mind too.
Westbrook and Blake and 2 first picks.
No, I'm not living in the past.
I was going to bring this up, Zach. I thought about this the other day. I want to propose a trade to you, Hunter.
Okay.
I want to trade you the Charlotte Hornets for the Washington Wizards.
Talking about the players.
Our fandoms. I own a Bullets jersey, a Wizards jersey. I like Russell Westbrook. I like Avdija. He's struggling.
I have never liked Russell Westbrook. I know he's a talent, but I've never liked his game.
And Hunter here loves him some Melo Ball.
I
Lives
don't
around,
love him.
lives in
I just
Charlotte.
don't rip him as much as you do because he doesn't play bad.
I just tell the truth. Nobody will.
You want to trade fandoms?
Yeah, straight up trade.
Well, I
Wizards
have
for Hornets.
I have more.
Have you ever heard of such a thing, Tim?
I have more
No.
Hornets
Hey.
articles of clothing than Wizards articles
right.
of clothing.
Yeah.
I
Not
don't know.
as bad as idea as you thought it was.
Well,
to start.
here's the thing now too. You know, a lot of kids my age, they grow up. They're more fans of players than anything. My favorite player's not there anymore. I love John Wall. I think him come back, and he's still playing phenomenal after being out for almost 3 years. But he's not in Washington anymore.
Right.
I guess I'll just go be a Houston fan.
No, I'm trying to trade you.
I'll just be a Rocket fan.
I'm giving it to you.
You're just giving it
I'm
to
giving
me?
you the LaMelo Ball bandwagon. And then in 6 years, I can say, how many playoff series did you win? And be like, none.
Take it. And I'll say the same thing.
None.
You're going to say none.
None. All right, y'all want some fun trades? How about let's do this? Lefty Grove was traded for a fence. They needed to replace the Martinsburg outfield fence, so they traded Lefty Grove in 1920.
This is baseball.
Dave Winfield was traded for a dinner.
What?
The Indians, hoping for a postseason run, swung for a trade for Dave Winfield. This is during the strike season, hoping he could play. Just before the now defunct waiver trade deadline of August 31st, Cleveland was supposed to get a player to be named from Minnesota. But because of the strike, that never happened. So to settle things, the Indians took the Twins executives out for dinner.
I wish
So the
that's how we
Indians
do
got
it.
Dave- Indians got
we're
Dave
gonna take you out
Winfield.
to dinner.
For feeding the
The
executives,
executives.
of
Imagine
the
if it was like that in every sport.
Talk about wine and dine.
of the Minnesota Twins. How
Wine
good
and
was that
dine.
steak?
Must have been a damn good steak.
Carolina's going to
It's a
go
tube
take
steak.
all their
Listen, I've never had a steak so good I'd want to trade one of my
Dave
best players
Winfield.
away.
And Zach, is he not one of the greatest athletes in American history? Dave Winfield.
Like him and Andre Dawson, very same player.
Imagine if that happened with Deshaun Watson. Carolina, we're just going to take y'all's coaches out so we could have Deshaun Watson.
So
Well, I'd give him a call. Why not?
I'm trying to figure out what else he did. There was something else about Winfield being an athlete. Wasn't he drafted in like the NFL or basketball too, or something like that? Too, Zach? There was something about Winfield about how awesome an athlete he was. I ain't gonna find it. All right, here's some of the other. Let's give you some more weird trade. Tris Speaker, or you guys don't know who that is, was traded for rent in 1907.
Wow. Well,
For one of the baseball fields, rent.
you gotta make rent. I mean, I understand that completely. What would you trade Kevin for? That's a tough one. Anything. What would you do it?
I don't know.
Let me see. What would I trade intern for? Tanner, what would I trade you for? I'll tell you what, Tanner, if they offer me a pretty damn good steak dinner, I might trade your ass.
Johnny Jones was traded for a live turkey in 1930.
Washington would trade
Listen
you
to-
for a
listen-
no-name. for a name.
Johnny Jones was a light-hitting shortstop for the Chattanooga Lookouts, and he had drawn the ire of the local press. So in 1930, they sent him to the Charlotte Hornets of the Piedmont League in exchange for a 25-pound turkey because the turkey was having a better year than him. The owner was mad at him. He didn't like him.
Damn.
Trade him for a turkey.
I want a pet turkey, so you're getting traded for it.
Kerry Lightenberg was traded for bats and balls in the Minneapolis Prairie League. He was pitching for $650 a month. He was one class away from graduating from the University of Minnesota with an engineering degree. But the Braves took an interest in him. Zach, you remember him?
Who?
Kerry Lightenberg.
Yes.
But the Braves took an interest in him at the urging of then Loons manager Greg Olson.
Greg? Time traveler?
The Braves signed Lightenberg, and they offered to compensate Olson for the fine. Olson was practical enough to ask for what his club really needed. We needed 12 dozen baseballs and 2 dozen bats, he said. So the Braves traded for Kerry Lightenberg 12 dozen balls and 2 dozen bats. He made 254 appearances over 5 seasons out of the bullpen. Ken Comstock was for $100 in a bag of baseballs. I told you, bag of baseballs, you can trade them in baseball. You just can't do it in these other sports. Joe Martina was traded for some oysters.
Baseball has no respect.
Lyndon Darrow was traded for donuts. Cy Young was traded for a business suit by the Cleveland Spiders. No, for the Cleveland Spiders. Owner Frank Robinson decided he needed him. All it cost to acquire Frank Robinson, Zach, was a $300 suit for the new coach of the Canton baseball team. Is that not crazy? So, and Mike Cisco was traded for nothing.
What am I reading right now?
I don't know. I'm not in your eyes. What is it, sir?
I'm seeing multiple people saying that the Broncos are likely to decline the $18 million team option on Von Miller, making him a free agent.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's another high level star prospect available.
Anyone not named a quarterback is making more than about $12 million a year is probably overpaid. You mean at the gist of it? Let's say you play 16 games. I mean, how many people are
worth $1 million a game?
Right. A lot of these running backs are getting it. Are they? Isn't it just crazy? We say the running backs aren't part of the game. We can split them up. We don't need them, and then they keep dumping money into them.
Right.
So, if you got a quarterback...
Well, you would think people would learn, but they don't.
Hunter.
Learn? God. Never. Who learns these days? I've never learned it.
Like that soccer fan was trying to learn about the pillows.
He was trying to learn.
The pillows.
The pillows.
You stole my pillow.
And he steals the pillow. You have a man stealing the pillow.
Yeah,
Yes.
that guy had the pillows in his shirt.
So
He stole the pillows.
all right, so Hunter, I've got a homework assignment for you.
I don't like homework, though. I've already got enough of it.
Yeah, it's not really that big. Oh,
Okay.
First of all, did you ever watch Days of Thunder?
I did. It
How'd you like it?
was very good.
What was your favorite car in there? Was it Meliela?
That thing was sweet.
It was, wasn't
This
it?
is cool paint.
It was the
Cool paint scheme.
It was the.
So did you watch any of the? So you didn't see? Did you see
Kyle
the
Petty
making
car.
of it? The making of Days of Thunder. Did you see that?
I think you tagged it in me. I
They
don't remember
showed
I
it
saw
Thursday live, but Sunday during the race, it was because of the rain delay. They showed it again.
Oh no, I didn't see that. huh?
Fantastic! I learned things about I didn't know. So Zach, they qualified those cars for actual races. Rick Hendrick supplied the cars, and they built them. Okay, so what they were doing, they would go out there. You remember, the start and park cars. A lot of. So this guy that won the Daytona 500 used to do that. If you're not familiar with it, you don't want to wreck your equipment. You don't got backup equipment, so you start the race. You go out, run a quarter of the laps, then park your car, and you still get paid. So a lot of guys did that. So the strategy. So it basically started off with Tom Cruise. Just got done with Top Gun, and he was testing stuff, doing things, messing around with some cars or something, and basically he ended up like meeting with Rick Hendrick or something, and he let him drive, and Rick just let him drive his race car, and he did it real well. He didn't wreck it, and basically Cruz is just, as soon as it happened, he's just like, I'm doing a NASCAR movie. So Cruz went to his producers, and they got together, and it was just amazing showing like they had these camera cars out on the damn track during the races. I'm just trying to picture that now.
Right.
So during like say cautions and stuff, the camera cars were on the track, getting all the footage they could. The two cars that qualified, so they would qualify the two cars. Then they would take one of the cars and fill it with cameras. The other one would actually race. And so they didn't put these weren't like stunt drivers. These were like real NASCAR drivers. So Bobby Hamilton drove one of them. Can't remember the names of the other one. One of the other guys set a NASCAR record. He's the only person, and they don't even have it in the books, he said, because it was for the show. He's the only person in NASCAR history who qualified for the same race twice. Because he ran both the qualifying races in Daytona that year and qualified for the race twice in the same car, but they didn't put him down for either one of them. So it didn't even go as a record that he qualified at all, and he did twice for the same one. And he said I didn't wreck it. He said it was just amazing. One of the cool things was at the end of it. Well, the whole show, they talked to all the actors. Zach, you know who they didn't talk to? Randy Quaid.
Wow.
Do you know why? You know who he is a big supporter of?
Is he a Trump supporter?
The former president. Yeah, so they didn't interview him or put him on the show.
He was out of the country for a while running because he was in trouble.
Right. Well, I think it was a tax thing.
Yeah.
But like they did not. There was no interviews of Randy Quaid, but they interviewed everybody else. The director's wife, they interviewed her for a lot of it. Tony Scott's wife, Jerry Bruckheimer, Rick Hendricks, Jeff Gordon, a lot of these guys. So how about this? Jeff Gordon, guys, was originally supposed to drive the 46 City Chevrolet car. The original deal when he came over, Zach, was they were going to put him in that yellow and green 46 City Chevrolet and not the rainbow car. But Hendricks actually didn't own the 46. And the 46 people who owned it wouldn't loan it out to him. So Jeff Gordon ended up in the 24 because he was actually, there was never supposed to be a Rainbow Warrior. And he ended up, is that not crazy? Like that was his identity for so many years, is the Rainbow, his teams were called the Rainbow Warriors, Tanner, his teammates, because it was DuPont and their logo was a rainbow. So all the color was, the car was just in all the different colors.
What, were they gay?
No, they actually were not.
Oh no.
Well, a lot of people did accuse Jeff Gordon of that, but
Yeah.
he's not been so far. Of Earnhardt fans, especially, that was their favorite go-to thing then. The Rainbow Warriors were, but they were supposed to be yellow and black like that. The Mellow Yellow car, Rick Hendrick says still that's his favorite car. Is that one? Of course, they had a pink and white one, the Superflow. For that, I'm trying to think of. So the beach scene, where they raced on the beach, there's a spot in it when they hit each other, and it shows in the movie one of the driver's heads went through the passenger window. When he said they just let us go and say do whatever. He said we're driving through the ocean, and they show the slow mo of the video. You can see it in the movie when they showed him pause it. When he hit, his head went through the side window. He said I didn't even know it did that. Until after we were done, I come back and I had blood running down the side of my head, and they said something about it. We went through the video, and it showed my head going through the window. He said he just knew he hit it. He didn't know he actually went through the window.
God.
That was pretty cool. Just the whole thing of how a lot of the scenes, Zach, they were driving through North Carolina and just stopped, and like the barn scene, they just found that barn driving back and forth.
Right.
They didn't build any sets. They had to rush everything. The music, I was actually talking to Tanner about it earlier. Jeff Beck did the guitar for them, and they just like flew them in, everybody into Daytona. So the crash scenes. So what happened was that during the filming, all the crashes while the cars were out there, they missed them. They weren't near them, or the camera was on the wrong side of the car. They didn't have any crash scenes. So all the big crash scenes in the movie, after this NASCAR season was over, Hendrick and them brought all those. Well, they brought all the cars, the test cars that they had over, and they had to reshoot all the crash scenes after the movie was over. So they had a week to shoot the crash scenes and get added to the film. So he said they went down there, and so they planned it with actual like Matchbox cars. So all the stunt drivers are talking about what they're going to do. He said after every wreck, they would tear them up so bad, we had our shop open. We would take the cars that wrecked to the shop, have them rebuild them, and we just spray painted over everything we could to make it look like. So he said half the cars in all the wreck scenes are already just beat all to hell. He said you can tell when you really look at it, that car. And he had the car that Cole flipped over in and ended up getting taken out in the helicopter. And he had it sitting there, and it was nothing but a roll cage. No. He said, so what they did to flip it was they stuck a telephone pole in it. And this is how they flipped the car. They took a telephone pole, cut it in half, stuck it in the back, coming out the rear. And what they did was that they said the driver was in. There was somebody in the car. He said the driver had to press a button to shoot off explosives in the back. And when they shot off the explosives, the pole would hit the ground and flip them. And that's how they flipped that car 15, 17 times. It was with a telephone pole shooting an explosive off.
Jesus.
It's crazy. Isn't it? That was a very good explanation, good part of the movie. So the 500 this weekend, McDowell wins. He used to be a starting park. Obviously, no one's ever heard of him. He loves gas station. If you ever see that, that's his sponsor. Hunter, you're right. Kind of did wreck Keselowski. I don't know if he meant to wreck him. Sure.
I'm not going to say that he meant to wreck
Sure as hell meant to push him.
Yes.
I'll say that.
He did. I watched maybe that last 16. Just waiting to see what was going to happen.
Yeah. They made me mad because they did wait till the last lap to do anything.
They did. They waited.
The last 5 laps were kind of boring when it could have been exciting. They waited till the last possible minute to do anything.
Nobody really tried to make moves. Austin Dillon tried to make a move, it looked like, on really going into the final lap. I think it was about the second or third lap to go.
Didn't it seem like they were too scared to get out of line because they didn't want to drop back 5 or 6 spots and then wait? And they were waiting and waiting and waiting. So when you listen to the radioactive part, which I'm going to play Saturday, I think Kyle Busch was like, why is Chase not going? Because he was wanting to follow Chase out of that line because you remember it was Fords up front.
Yeah, it was Fords up front. There was like 3 Fords sitting there.
So Zach, what happened? They had green flag pit stops. So let's say the pit window is 40 laps to go. Well, at 45, all of a sudden in turn 3, all the Fords hit the bottom lane.
Right.
And when they did that, they moved up a little bit. But what they did, they blocked the Toyotas and Chevys from being able to get to the pits.
Right.
And then again in green, I don't know the exact rule. You can go in a little faster than normal. Under yellow flag caution. So they all flew into the pits there and dove in. So when they came out, it was like, 11, 12 cars deep of a line they had. And that thing was moving like a freight train. And
at one point, I think they had 4 Fords, then 1 Chevrolet sitting in between of another Ford. There was like 5 Fords within the top 6.
And so the Toyotas ended up coming back out, and everybody didn't have as good or the same stop as everybody else. So Denny Hamlin complained that we had too good of a stop. He got out in front of the other guys. He had nobody to push him. So he ended up in the long end. He was leading the whole race until then. And then he ended up in the end of that long line of about 12, 13 cars. When they split him, I thought him and I think it was Kyle maybe, they did a good job of making them split them. And they actually cut the field in half. They cut off about 6 cars off. I think that's what you were talking about when it got to that. And then the last few laps, like I said, it was kind of boring to where nobody did anything. And then McDowell there on the last part went to push, and Keselowski 1 and 2 wrecked. What's funny about that? 2 and 3 wrecked to start the race, and then 1 and 2
wrecked to finish the race.
Wrecked to finish the race, and then McDowell finished up. And when you talk about the Daytona, different between Days of Thunder and now, is that back then in that movie, what made part of that movie realistic and why he got in that wreck to begin with, is that you had to race back to the finish line then. So now they throw that caution out, and they go to as soon as the caution comes out, that's where the race ends. So back then in the Days of Thunder, Cole barreled through that and had that wreck. He was racing to get back to line and win the race. And the guys in the 500 did race back to the line. They didn't have to, but they were trying to make sure when that light came out that they were going to be in first. But I think it's fantastic. Just watching him after the race. Did you watch him celebrating or anything?
They die.
Oh, dude. I mean, just the emotions, he didn't have his family there either.
Right.
They're, I think he said they were back at some condos, not they weren't even at the track. They were down there, and he's telling Happy Valentine's Day, and he's got to celebrate. And no, he said, well, that's what it was. They weren't even there. He said maybe whoever's car owner could fly you guys in tomorrow or something like that. He was asking about that because they're going to be in Daytona a whole another week.
Yeah.
So anyway, I watched the whole race. I thought it was decent. The early wreck, Zach, they were pushing early and wrecked 15 damn cars.
Yeah, that was just stupid,
Mm-hmm. But
I think someone said that's why Denny fell all the way to the back.
Right, he was sitting at the back, so let 10, 15 people take each other out, and then get up front after that. It was a good strategy until that last pit. It just didn't work out for him. All the cars I was pulling for was in the first wreck. I was pulling for Ryan Newman in the 43 car. The 48, I think, was in the second one. No, 24 was in the first one, too. So everybody except for Kyle Larson, which I wasn't pulling for, but everybody Hendricks, but him, he's the Lone Ranger out there by himself riding. So, did you see or find out anything about Jesse, where he finished or anything in that? I did not look at the Xfinity.
Xfinity had a huge wreck, too.
Yeah.
It wrecked out almost half the field.
Was he? That's why I was wondering.
I think
was
he finished.
Involved in it?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't involved in the race. But if I'm not mistaken, I think he finished 16th. Maybe 15th. I can tell you in a second.
That's cool. I wanted to just check in on him, see how. Because when I turned it in, I didn't see his name in the top 10.
He finished 5th or 17th.
Okay.
Yeah, he finished 17th, and I think I saw that he's sitting at 13th going into this weekend.
I'm trying to pull up. All right. Next weekend, of course, is NASCAR in the at the Roval, the Daytona Roval, whatever you want to call it.
Daytona Road Track.
So, Hunter, your homework is a conspiracy theory football homework for me. I want you to look up when you get it because it involves your team. So this Super Bowl, I watched the video. It's just a video. You have to look it up on YouTube. I don't know the exact name, but it'll be easy to search for. Super Bowl, this year's Super Bowl was the exact same game, as in like almost all the scoring and plays and everything happened almost the exact same way as the Super Bowl 18 between Raiders and Redskins. I can't even do the video justice describing all the plays and everything. And everything looked almost exactly the same and how everything is, but it'd be interesting for you to watch. So I'm telling you, go look up this year's Super Bowl was the same as Super Bowl 18. Redskins and Raiders. The final score in that game, Hunter, was where'd he go? There it is. Final score in that game was 38-9. What would the score been if Tampa wasn't stopped on the half-an-inch line?
38-9.
Yeah. So I'll start there with you. The coaches and stuff, everything. Like one team just won the Super Bowl. Like a Sager quarterback, the Redskins, and the next year didn't. Like there's like Theismann, that was Theismann. So that was Theismann Super Bowl, and the next year they didn't. So that's Patrick Mahomes.
Next year he didn't.
So next year J.J. Watt's going to break his leg. Pat Mahomes.
Let's not hope that.
I didn't hope it. I'm just saying. The game featured Marcus Allen. It was talking about that. Zach, they showed a Marcus Allen run. Oh my God, he took off. Like everybody forgets how
Bo come in and threw him.
Like he had a weird speed, Zach, didn't he? To where like his feet, Hunter, weren't. It was long strides. It was like a Randy Moss speed as a running back,
and maybe even Peterson to a little bit of an extent. I'm gonna say Dorsett.
He don't know Dorsett.
Yeah,
Tony Dorsett.
Yeah, but you've never seen him run.
No, not live.
Right. Marcus took off and. In that,
well, Derrick Henry's that way. Derrick Henry's got long strides.
Yeah,
that's because he's a big man.
I'm just trying to think of a tall. He's 6'2". Man, I don't know, Zach. How else would you describe Marcus Allen that people don't get? Like it was. Let me pull up one run. See,
the problem we have now is running backs aren't featured, so you really don't get a chance to take one for the other.
I'm just talking about how tall he is and just the
He was
smooth
just,
running. It's like it was just
Body style.
right. He wasn't running through anybody. It was. God, it was just so smooth. I'm gonna pull up a quick. Of course, these are people talking about him and stuff, but I just wanted Hunter to see kind of how long and lanky he kind of was, and again, I'm just trying to think. Man, that's a tough comparison, Zach. You're right. Like, what was he, or who today?
Video again. Let's see.
That was Bo Jackson. There's Bo just
Yeah,
running
he's
through.
ridiculous.
See, Adrian Peterson remind me of Bo, but look how much tall. Look at Bo, and that's a
Bo's
good.
ridiculous.
That's a good.
I mean, just
so that's a good
absolutely ridiculous.
video of looking at him. So, Marcus is showing how good of a blocker he was. Just think about that backfield. So there's Marcus in front of him. He's like 6'2", and look how much longer and taller he is than Bo, and he just rolled through there. I'm trying to find one where they'll show his speed. And all right, this is a good one there, Hunter. Just look how tall he is and the way he runs through this defense right here.
Yeah, he's got some strides.
Look at those long steps. He's not chopping. He's not shaking. It's just step, 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 step. Couple little moves there, and then boom. Long strides. I can't think of anybody that runs like that nowadays. Just they put those guys at wide receiver. That you know what I mean? That run like that.
Yeah, those long strided high steppers.
How many 6'2" running backs we got now? A lot, not a lot. Just asking.
How big is Henry?
Derrick Henry's like 6'3".
He's a big boy.
He's like a defensive end linebacker size. He's a big boy.
Tallest running backs. Brandon Jacobs, 6'4". This is the tallest player by position. Why didn't Zach anybody try to sign a 7-footer to play defensive tackle for for these field goals and stuff? Would Shaq or Yao Ming not be the greatest defensive tackle of all
Yeah,
time?
because they only usually miss getting them by a finger.
Just barely. Here's the tallest at every position. Dan McGuire, 6'8". Brandon Jacobs, 6'4". So he was big, and he was hefty too. That's a damn load. Harold Carmichael at wide receiver, 6'8". Tight end Morris Stroud, 6'10". Tackle Jonathan Ogden, 6'9". He was nasty. Defensive end Ed Too Tall Jones, Zach.
6'7".
6'10".
Is he that big?
Remember, he retired to play to box for a year.
Oh my lord.
He was a boxer. Can't remember who he fought. It was somebody decent, wasn't it? You don't remember? Nope. I've got my Ed Too Tall Jones starting lineup at the house. Boxing. Former Golden Gloves fighter in Tennessee, Jones would fight in 6 professional bouts as a heavyweight, going 6-0 with 5 knockouts. His boxing debut, 1979. He gave away over 50 pounds. He dropped Jones with a left hook to some guy, and then Jones knocked him out. Okay.
Wow.
So he was tough, man. Bubba Smith was a tough one too, wasn't he? Remember him?
I remember him off Police Academy,
That's what I was
but not
saying.
off the movie.
Police Academy.
I mean, not off the football.
I'm guessing these two have never seen a Police Academy movie, have y'all?
Nope, but I've seen Super Troopers.
I'll give you some credit. That was a fantastic movie, Hunter. That's my college years right there. Is that movie? But Police Academy was
What meow?
freaking hilarious. Yeah,
Super Troopers.
there's so many good quotes in that. The schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
Stop the car, meow.
You can do meow all day.
Meow.
I do that to my kids all the time.
Stop, meow.
I just kill them with it.
Not right, meow.
Just kill them.
Not right, meow.
Meow.
Meow. Meow? Meow. Yes, meow. Get out, meow.
Do I look all nimbly bimbly? Do I look like I eat mice?
Such a good movie.
Yeah. Damn, Hunter, I'm happy.
What movie is it?
Super Troopers.
Super Troopers.
They made a second one.
Never
Haven't
seen
seen
it.
it though.
Never seen Super Troopers?
No.
The Super Troopers, the second one I took the wife to, actually. We watched in the theater. It was good. I would say it's not terrible, but it's not as good as the first one. I right, one of my favorite sayings is Hunter is the I believe that when my shit turns purple, it tastes like rainbow sherbet. He says it in
In an Irish accent.
in Irish. I believe that when my shit turns purple, it tastes like rainbow sherbet. And then also, I'm gonna pistol whip anyone who says shenanigans again. Who said shenanigans? Then there's like, Farmer, what's the name of that restaurant? You talking about shenanigans? And my man holds out the gun, and he's like, no. One of the best ones. I love it.
It's funny. Such a funny movie.
All right, Hunter, you got any other stuff to get into today?
That's about it.
We can get out of here.
Yeah, that's about it.
We had
that I
Daytona
have.
500. We talked about the Pillow Man.
We talked
We let
NFL.
Zach hear Kevin Harlan.
We talked NBA. We've really hit everything because, I mean, other than that, I mean, pitchers and catchers have reported today, but that still don't mean nothing. Spring training is just now starting. Baseball's in the same thing that NBA is in. Till you get to the All-Star break, really, it's just don't go 0-10 out the gate.
Don't. All right, Tanner, find us some music here to go out as we say goodbye. Oh, real quick, baseball, they're dead in the balls. Did you see that story?
I did see that. I think
change.
that's a good change.
It said average 5 feet less in flight. They're raising the stitches.
I mean, you'll still get home runs, but I don't think this is a bad idea at all.
Well, of course, the argument is, would you rather have strikeouts and homers, or would you rather have singles, doubles, base stealing, throws? So that's the argument that everybody's making with that, and we'll see how it goes. 130-point NBA games and 10-8 baseball games might have run their course at some point. I mean, NBA's losing fans left and right. Like, what are you watching?
I know.
All right, guys. See you guys Saturday on Saturday Sports Talk, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. next week on Shock Top.